darling?
Oh, yes. Yes, completely.
May I have the salt?
What do we say?
Now.
Children, put down that.
Okay, now let's talk about Addams Family. All right. So it was this movie and then the next movie that was the Addams Family that I grew up watching. And while I like Values more, I still like this one. So this one is directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who directed the Men in Black movies. He also did a movie called Get Shorty, which is just awesome. And then he did a Talking Cat movie called 9 Lives, which you don't ever watch that unless you want to get drunk. But anyway, he was also a cinematographer as well. Like he worked on, he was the cinematographer for Misery, which I think is honestly my favorite Stephen King adapted movie. It's that and Shawshank are very close, but yeah. So he was, yeah. So he had some stuff under his belt, and this is about the Addams Family finding out that their Uncle Fester is coming back after a fight that him and Gomez had. But what they don't know is that the Uncle Fester is actually a almost like an imposter who is going in to basically reclaim everything or claim everything that the family owns as theirs. But throughout the time, he starts getting more attached to them, and craziness ensues. So, like I said earlier, this was the Addams Family that I grew up watching. So I grew up watching, Raul Julia, Anjelica Huston, Christopher Lloyd, Christina Ricci. So this was the version of Addams Family that I grew up watching, because the next rendition of Addams Family wouldn't come until like years later, when they pretty much did the CG animated one that was supposed to look like the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And then, of course, we got the Netflix Wednesday series, which I still think it would have been cool if they did like an adult version of Wednesday where they got Christina Ricci back to do it. But, Jenna Ortega did a really, really good job anyway. But I digress. This one, I watched Values more when I was growing up, but I still enjoy this one. And something that Barry Sonnenfeld does in a lot of his movies, I think actually in almost all of his movies, is that he kind of does an overuse of green screen. And with this, there's a lot of like green screen parts that is like blended with sometimes CGI, but then there's like sometimes like camera tricks, and most of them I think work quite well. It wasn't until he got the 9 Lives where it's just like, yep, this isn't working anymore. And plus, it doesn't help that was a totally CGI cat that turns into a Muppet pretty much. But this first Addams Family movie, I think, is pretty good. To me, it's not great, but I still very much enjoy it. Um, when I think of Addams Family, I I think of the old um, TV show back in the day. Um, Sometimes I think of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon, but when I'm thinking of Addams Family, I think of this version. Uh, and yeah, especially the casting they had, it was spot on. Like I can't really see anybody else play these characters, until I would say until we got the Wednesday series, where it's just like, you know what, these are actually pretty good choices. Like with that one, yeah, you had Jenna Ortega as Wednesday, but you also had Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. You had Luis Guzman as Gomez, and then Fred Armisen as Uncle Fester. And it was just like, you know what, that's actually pretty good casting. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. But for me, growing up, this was the version I was most familiar with, and I still really like it. Uh, there's a couple things where I'm just like, yeah, I kind of slow at this part, and then iffy at this part, but overall, I still thoroughly enjoy this one. But if I was given the choice between watching one and two, I would more choose the second one. But if it was like, oh, we're gonna show a double feature and it's these two, I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I'll watch it. Like I mean, I don't think I don't think it's bad, not at all. But there's parts of it where I'm like, yeah, okay, they could have punched this up a little bit better. This could have been a little bit better. This I think they could have pulled back on. Somewhat like pacing issues, and that at times it kind of felt a little longer than it should have. Um, but I overall I still thoroughly enjoy the movie, and this was my introduction to not only Barry Sonnenfeld, because I saw this before I watched Men in Black, but also this was my introduction to Ricci, because I didn't see Casper yet. It was my introduction to Huston, because I don't think I saw The Witches yet. And then Julia, I saw clips of Street Fighter, and I just went, yeah, this is just ridiculous, and I can't take this seriously at all. But to be honest, that movie was not caring about being serious. And when it came to Lloyd, I think he was the only actor where I watched it and went like, that guy looks familiar, because I'd watched Back to the Future at that point. So I kind of, this was my first stepping stone to a lot of these actors. It became a point where I was going like, oh, they're in this. Oh, they're in this. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And yeah, I still like this movie. Like, don't get me wrong, I still like this movie. There's just parts of it where I'm just like, yeah, this could have been changed, or this could have been trimmed. That could have been probably increased a little bit more. But overall, I thoroughly enjoy what they did, and I would say it's a jumbling act, because want to think of great, but then I think of the problems I have, which then pulls it to average. But then at the same time, I think about the good it does, and then it pulls it to great. So I would say maybe a high average, maybe low great, because yeah, I did enjoy this movie, despite some of the things that I wish changed, but you can't have everything, can you? But like I said, overall, I thoroughly enjoy the movie, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, this was my introduction to Addams Family, and it was a good way to start it.
I I'm blinded by such beauty.
How can I compete? You're twice the woman I am.
Look, a new chapter.